When this piece was premiered in, I believe, 1829, about 5 years after Rossini moved to Paris, the tenors at that time, the Rossini tenors, all sang in a manner that is different than what we hear today. The tenor that did the premiere was named Adolphe Nourrit, and he was known as what is called a graceful tenor, tenore di grazia. Tenors sang in a full voice up to about an A4, and then switched over into a mixed voice, where the upper part of the voice was dominant. Some people refer to it as falsetto. It was not a pure falsetto, if you want to call it that, but it was not the same big chesty sound that tenors basically sing with today. It was more of what you hear from a very light tenor today. When there was a revision of the work, I think in 1836 or 1837, something like that, and a different tenor sang the role, and his name was Dupré. And there's a high C in this piece, which is the tenor, the big high note that everybody hopes to be able to sing. And he sang it with a stronger connection to what is called the so-called chest register, muscular. And it completely changed the way tenors approached singing opera. There's a report that I read years ago that said that Rossini was seen leaving the theater, because he was present for that revision. He was seen leaving the theater with tears in his eyes. And someone asked him, why are you weeping? He said, for two reasons. Because everyone who heard Dupré sing the high C, the do di petto, the C from the chest, every tenor is going to try to do that now. And the other reason is that poor Dupré cannot last very long singing this way. And he was absolutely right in his prediction. Dupré's career was not that long. And as a matter of fact, Nourrit later committed suicide, and some people feel that it was possibly because of the fact that he now knew that his manner of singing was no longer going to be acceptable. We don't know if that was the case or not, or whether he was just someone who was a little shaky generally. But it did change the way tenors approach singing operatically, with more of a connection of both registers, with the chest, the so-called chest register, being more powerfully employed. So it'll be interesting to hear how the tenor who is engaged for this performance, what kind of voice he has and how he approaches it. In recent years, tenors with lighter voices like Nicola Gedda have sung it and sung it successfully, and tenors with heavier voices, Chris Merritt, who had a really sizable voice, but had the extended range, sang it successfully. I understand that Luciano Pavarotti did a concert performance of it, or actually I think a recording of it, but he never sang it on stage, and don't know why that was the case. Luciano's voice was full and vibrant, but it was more of the lighter quality than, say, Franco Corelli and Richard Tucker, whose voices were more chest grounded, so to speak. So it's a very tough role, and I'll be interested to hear, again, how the tenor handles it. But this, Rossini's last opera, is a mixture of his Italian techniques and the acquired French techniques that he mastered once he moved to Paris. His final operatic statement. So it's fantastic work.